शत श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्त वेदांत स्वामी शीला प्रभुपाद की, इसकान फंड आचार्य शीला प्रभुपाद की, नाम आचार्य शीला हरिदास ठाकुर की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद भागवतम की. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, welcome to this morning Bhagavatam class. So, today we are reciting the verse from Canto 4, Chapter 9 and the text 9. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Canto 4, Chapter 9 and the text number 9. Nyunam vimusta matayas. Nyunam vimusta matayas. Tava maya. Okay, just. Nyunam vimusta matayas. Tava maya yate. Ye tvam bhavapyaya vimokshanam anya hetu. Archanti kalpakatarum kunapapogyam. Ichanti yat sparshajam ninaye pinunam. Nyunam vimusta matayas tava maya yate. Ye tvam bhavapyaya vimokshanamanya hetu. Archanti kalpakatarum kunapapabhugyam. Ichanti yat sparsajam runaye pinunam. Nyunam vimusta matayas tava maya yate. Ye tvam bhavapyaya vimokshanamanya hetu. Archanti kalpakataram kunapapabhugyam. Ichanti yat sparsajam nunaye pinunam. Prabhuji. Nyunam vimusta matayas tava maya yate. Ye tvam bhavapyaya vimokshanamanya hetu. Achanti kalpakatarum kunapapobhugyam. Ichanti yat sparsajam nirnaye niripinunam. Nyunam vimusta matayas tava maya yate. Ye tvam bhavapyaya vimokshanamanya hetu. Archanti kalpakataram kunapapobhugyam. Ichanti yat spurujam niraye pinunam. Anybody would like to recite? Yeah. Mataji. Nyunam vimusta matayas tava maya yate. ये त्वां भवाप्यय विमोक्षणमन्यहेतु अर्चन्ति कल्पकतरुं कुनापपभोग्यम् हिचन्ति यत्स्पर्शजं निरयेऽपि नूनम् न्यूनां विमुष्टमतयास्तव मायया ते ये त्वां भवाप्यय विमोक्षणमन्यहेतु अर्चन्ति कल्पकतरुं कुनापपभोग्यम् इच्छन्ति यत्स्पर्शजं निरयेऽपि नूनम्. Word to word meaning? Nyunam, certainly. Vimusta mataya, those who have lost their right intelligence. Tava, your. Mayaya, by the influence of illusory energy. Te, they, ye, who, tvam, you, bhava, from birth, apyaya, and death, vimokshanam, the cause of liberation, anya hetu, for other purposes, archanti, worship, kalpakatarum, who are like the desire tree, kunapa, of this dead body, upabhogyam, sense gratification, icchanti, they desire, yet that which, sparshajam, derived by touch sensation, niraye, in hell, api, even, nunam, for persons. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation, please repeat. Persons who worship you simply for the sense gratification of the bag of skin are certainly influenced by your illusory energy. In spite of having you, who are like a desired tree and are the cause of liberation from birth and death. Foolish persons such as me desired benedictions from you for sense gratification, which is available even for those who live in hellish conditions. Purport. Dhruv Maharaj repented because he had come to the Lord to render devotional service for material profit. He here condemns his attitude. Only due to gross lack of knowledge does one worship the Lord for material profit or for sense gratification. The Lord is like a desire tree. Anyone can have whatever he desires from the Lord, but people in general do not know what kind of benediction they should ask from him. Happiness derived from the touch of skin or sensuous happiness is present in the life of hawks and dogs. Such happiness is very insignificant. If a devotee worships the Lord for such insignificant happiness, he must be considered devoid of all knowledge. Let's do Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So welcome to this morning Bhagavatam class once again. So we are continuing the Dhruva Maharaj prayers. So today's verse, if you see the translation, persons who worship you simply by for sense gratification of this bag of skin are certainly influenced by your illusory energy. In spite of having you, who are like a desired trees and are cause of liberation from birth and death, foolish persons such as me desire benediction from you for sense gratification, which is available even for those who live in hellish condition. So Dhruva Maharaj started offering his prayers, and in these prayers he was glorifying Supreme Lord, and in today's verse he started repenting what he desired, because before starting his austerity, the bhakti under the guidance of Narada Muni, what was he desiring? He is desiring the kingdom bigger than his great grandfather. So and now in this verse he started repenting. What did I desire? Like the supreme personality of God, it is there in front of me, and I'm asking those minute temporary things I'm asking. So he started repenting. So when we see these Dhruva Maharaj prayers, these are very much enlightening us. All the prayers. Like if you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he used to ask Gadadhar Pandit again and again repeat these Dhruva Maharaj pastimes. And 5 years, the prayers offered by 5 years old boy in the Srimad Bhagavatam, many great personalities reading, meditating and contemplating on those prayers. And even Srila Prabhupada told sometime, like we need to remember all the verses of this Dhruva Maharaj prayers. If it is difficult to remember, at least read every day, meditate and remember, understand the meaning of these verses. So that's how this is in Dhruva. And then Srila Prabhupada told, by the mercy of Krishna, in your next life, when you see Krishna, you can offer these prayers. That is what Srila Prabhupada was telling. So when you see that all these things shows importance of these prayers. So how these 5 years old boy prayers became very prominent, very important for on the Vaishnava community. What was the reason? If you analyze a little bit, because when Dhruva Maharaj was speaking to Narada Muni, he himself mentioned that I don't have any scholarly skills to speak fluently, or he is not having any Brahmanical skills, just he is having passionate nature, and because of the humiliation he got from his mother, so he was desiring some material benefits. Otherwise he doesn't have any qualification, but now he is preparing such wonderful prayers where everybody is glorifying. What was the reason? If you understand that, right? See, when Dhruva Maharaj saw the Supreme Lord Vishnu, he was unable to offer anything to speak, any of prayers. But when Vishnu touched with the conch shell, then he started offering his prayers. So what it signifies, right? The Lord Vishnu empowered Dhruva Maharaj to speak those prayers. And Lord Vishnu, whatever he wanted to convey through those prayers, he is using the Dhruva Maharaj as an instrument to speak those prayers. Means the knowledge which is coming through these verses is directly coming from Vishnu. Vishnu is speaking through the medium of instrument as a Dhruva Maharaj. Just he wanted to glorify Dhruva Maharaj. That's why he is asking Dhruva Maharaj to recite these prayers. So that's why these verses are directly, this knowledge, all the 12 verses prayers, the transcendental knowledge is coming directly from Vishnu. That's the reason we are very much attracted to these prayers, and we are trying to recite and remember these prayers. That is one. This is the significance of these Dhruv Maharaj prayers. And in this verse, the next thing is Dhruv Maharaj was repenting his action, like what he desired previously. He was desiring the material kingdom, but now he's trying to. He was thinking that what did I ask? Why did I ask this place? Generally, this is the quality of a devotee. When you see the devotees, they are, they get to understand the knowledge through the spiritual master or various other senior Vaishnavas, then they will understand the goal of the life, how to achieve the goal, and what are the things required in order to achieve the goal. Then in the process, if they commit any mistake, if they commit any offenses, what they will realize and they will rectify and they progress ahead. So this is the quality of the devotee. But in the material person who just wanted anything for their sense gratification, their desire, what is their motive? They may repent, sometimes they realize, but with the false ego, they may not agree they did mistake or they commit offense. But in the devotees, this is the quality of the devotee. Whenever they commit any mistake, they will rectify, they will realize, and they will correct and move ahead. That is what we can see in case of Dhruv Maharaj pastime. And then in material cases, in the material context, not everybody will be in a position to agree their mistake. Some people may be in a mode of goodness, they will agree, but majority of the people, they don't rectify their mistake, but with a false ego, they try to overcome those, suppress those things, and they will move ahead. So this is the difference between the devotee qualities and the other. We can learn from Dhruv Maharaj example. So correcting our own offenses and the mistakes. Now when we see this purport, like mainly the purport in the Prabhupada also mentioning what kind of desires we should have when we go in front of deity, or when we go in when we see by chance, by the mercy of Krishna, if we see Supreme Lord directly face to face, or we see Krishna, Radha Gopinath, what should we ask? What kind of desires we should have? This is what one of the important point Prabhupada was emphasizing. So before we try to discuss on that, we try to understand the human mentality, the psychology, to see how our desires evolve. How, like suppose you are a great businessman, let's say, and you want to achieve some so many things in your business. You wanted to achieve good success, and what you will do, you will suppose if you get opportunity to say a prime minister or the president of the country, you will go and ask the desire specific to. So maybe government is having some projects, you may be looking for those projects, or you try to influence the government so that you will get more work and your profits will increase. So you always wanted when you get those projects, your company will be on the number one position. You wanted to achieve that position. So the human mentality is everyone want to achieve something high in the material context, right? So they wanted to achieve something higher than everyone else. Suppose currently we all know that Olympics happening in Paris, in France, right? All the teams, all the players will go. What is their aim? They want to win gold medal. Whoever is participating in that Olympics, no, if you ask anyone, nobody will say, I am going for bronze medal, I am going for silver medal, right? Everybody's aim is to achieve gold medal. That is their aim. Whether they will achieve it or not, that is different, but their aspiration is try to achieve very high. So that is the human mentality. They wanted to always achieve. Our tendencies, they wanted to, material context or the spiritual, we wanted to achieve always very high. If you are writing any exam, your mentality is always to achieve high score. So this is our desire. So in this context, suppose a person, a very poor person, going to see the president of a country, and he doesn't have any shelter, he doesn't have any food. Then when he goes to the president, what will ask? Definitely he wanted to fulfill his desires. He will need a nice shelter, he'll need a nice job so that he can have. But at the same time, he will go, I paid $60 or 60 rupees to reach your palace. You give me the $60 or the 60 cents. So then if you ask a president, what president will say? Okay, I will give $120. You can go back home with the money, right? So our desires, what I'm trying to say is, we will have a desires. We will have different aspirations. But these are all relative in the material context. It all depends on your position, your situation, and what kind of knowledge you have, right? So one desire may be very important for you, but for my other persons it is not very much important. So it's this material desires are very much relative in nature. For one person it is important, for other person it is not important. So this, with this motive, with this understanding, we'll go to some big person or with the Supreme Lord, and we try to ask these small desires. So this is how our human tendency, our human psychology behaves. And one more story, like I remember, this is a real incident. Like His Holiness Achyutananda Swami, once he was in Hyderabad, there was a temple near Hyderabad, like Narsingadev temple. So he went there to visit, take the darshan of the temple, Narsingadev Bhagwan. And he was taking the darshan, and one young person came to take the darshan of the Lord. And Maharaj asked, "Oh, what did you pray to the Lord?" Then that person told, "I am finishing my studies, I am going to write exam, so I am praying Lord so that I'll get good marks in the exam." That was his desire. Then Maharaj asked again, "Okay, what will happen next?" Then again after 3-4 months I'll come back, I'll pray Lord that, okay, I will get a nice job. It's very old, long time back, this story. So if I get a salary of 600 rupees in Indian, that would be great. Then Maharaj told, "You are there in front of Supreme Lord, who is the richest in the whole universe, this complete planet. He is the richest person, and you are asking only 600 rupees job. Is this, do you think is it a good choice?" Then he started thinking, and yeah, it's true, this is 600 is very small. Then I'll ask for 900 rupees job. So this is our condition, this is our nature. When someone is there in front of you, what kind of desire we need to have? What should we ask? This we don't have any knowledge. This will come through this right knowledge, right consciousness, right? So this is our human mental. And not only that, in this human these our desires, like you ask for one desire, once that like you want to have a nice home, you construct a home and you buy a home. After some time, you will have another desire. Okay, I will go for next property. I will like keyword desires, these material desires. One is relative. Second one, it will keep increasing. So your greediness will increase. So these are the material nature, how these things will influence us, making our desires. So first it is relative, second one it will keep increasing. So, and we don't know what to ask, which person, whom we are meeting, what kind of desires we need to have. So this questions will lead to two main points. One is, what kind of, when you go in front of Radha Gopinath, deity, or when you directly get a chance to see Krishna, what should we ask? And second question, second thing comes in is how we will have a desires. Like even Dhruv Maharaj is also having very material desires, like kingdom bigger than his great grandfather. But when he saw Vishnu, his desires are transformed. How this transformation can happen? How the material consciousness will be turned into the spiritual? How this kind of transformation? So one is, what should we ask in front of God? And second thing, if we have a material desires, person is having material, in case of Dhruv Maharaj, how these desires can be transformed, translated into spiritual. These are the two things we can understand. So if you have to understand what should we ask in front of Krishna, when we go to deity or when we see Krishna, what should we ask? One pastime I can remember from Mahabharata. Before start of Mahabharata war, both Arjuna and Krishna visited Arjuna and Duryodhan visited Krishna, and both were there. When Krishna asked Duryodhan, "What do you want?" Then what Duryodhan told? Krishna gave two options. I will be there with one army, and my army will be there with other, right? Then Duryodhana selected big army of Krishna, whereas Arjuna selected Krishna himself, right? So this is how, like, the next example I can think. Then we will discuss, right? Next example, like Sudama pastime. Recently, in the last week, we had a Bhagavad Saptah by Lal Govind Prabhu. There he nicely narrated Sudama pastime as well. So Sudama was like a childhood friend of Krishna. Both Sudama and Krishna, they studied at the Sandipani Muni ashram. So after finishing their study with Sandipani Muni ashram, both they separated. Krishna became like a Dwarakadish, and Sudama was living as a normal Brahmana, and he was very poor. like he doesn't have any money. Sometimes he doesn't have a food to eat. So it was like he was in a very poor and miserable condition. He doesn't have proper clothes. So, and his wife asked Sudama to go and see Dwarkadish Krishna. So, after so much pressure, he went to see Dwarkadish Krishna, but he was not asking any help from Krishna. And his wife, since he is going to visit Krishna in Dwaraka, so he gave some puffed rice. She borrowed puffed rice from other neighbors, and she gave it to the Sudama. And Sudama went there, and by seeing Sudama, Krishna said, "Okay, definitely you must have got something from you." So, and he saw that puffed rice, and he took and ate. But even after all and Krishna nicely received Sudama. He did all the he received very nicely. He offered all the food and everything. But Sudama did not ask anything. And he went back to his place, Porbandar in Gujarat. And after once he reached there, he saw that Sudama went back his home, and then he saw everything changed. Krishna gave and all the like so much opulence, building, ornament, so many things, whatever the miserable condition he was in, everything changed. So here, Sudama, he did not ask anything. Just Krishna understand his situation, and he provided the whatever is required. Another pastime, like one more instance. This is specific to Srila Prabhupada. This is like when Srila Prabhupada was there in France. He was giving some lecture in temple, and one person was then Srila Prabhupada was talking about the karma theory, law of karma, how it works, how various actions we perform, how the different births we take, all those things Prabhupada was speaking. And then one person in the audience, he was saying, "Prabhupada, what was I am in my previous birth?" So because Prabhupada was talking about karma, and we all taken so many births in the past, and we will take births again based on our actions. Then that person asked, "In which body I was in my previous birth?" Srila Prabhupada saw and just ignored it. He didn't ask. His answer responded back. Then after some time when he was speaking, again he asked, "In which body I was in my previous life?" Then Prabhupada did not respond. So after class is finished, and then everybody was leaving, then that person came and asked again, "Prabhupada, in which body I was in my previous life?" Then Prabhupada told, "It doesn't matter in which body you are in previously. The important thing is, now you got a human body. With this human body, what you are going to do. So focus on those things." So what I am trying to say is, what kind of things we should ask when we see Krishna, when we see spiritual master. Spiritual master is a representative of Krishna, right? So what kind of things we should ask? We should be very clear. So if you see Arjuna and Duryodhan, when they saw Krishna, Arjuna was very clear. He is having the right knowledge. If Krishna is there with me, everything is done, right? He can achieve anything. That was the consciousness Arjuna was having. But Duryodhana was thinking that, okay, Krishna is only one person. He was thinking completely materially, and his army is so many people there. So if I take his big army, I can defeat. That was Duryodhana's consciousness. And same thing in Sudama's space, he is not asking anything. Even though Krishna is a friend, he can remove all his poverty at one shot, but still he did not ask. So what all these things, what should we ask Krishna? Again, this story is telling, examples are giving. Arjuna did not ask, but Duryodhana asked something. Sudama did not ask, still he got. So all these questions, even Dhruva Maharaj, he asked material desire, later he changed, consciousness changed, and he did not. So what should we ask? In Bhagavad Gita 9.22, the famous verse is saying, "Ananyas chintayanto mam yejana paryupasate techa nityabhijuktanam yogakshemam vahamiham." The translation goes, "But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack, and I preserve what they have." So if you do Ananya Bhakti, exclusive devotion to Krishna, Krishna will preserve whatever you have, and he will provide what you lack. Then tell me what you wanted to ask when you see Krishna. Nothing. All you can ask is do devotion. I know reaching this stage is very high. We are not there yet. Conditional we have, but this is the aim we should have. At least we should try to develop this kind of aim. We should not. We don't need to go for any material desires. Like so many animals there in the world. Are they asking any? Are they trying asking? Okay, I need this. I need that. Krishna is providing everything to everyone. So when we go in front of Krishna, deities, what is that? Just we need to ask for the devotion, bhakti, to ensure that we are not having any disturbances in our bhakti. Rest, Krishna will take care. I know this is very high consciousness, but we should aim for that. That should be so the one of the key point. And the next, when we talk about the devotion, in general terms, there are three paths. Like I know in Bhagavad Gita also it was then artho, jignasa, arthati. But then when we categorize, there will be three different kind of ways people will approach. One person will, I want to go to deities, I want this, I want that. So he will desire more and more. One kind of person. The second person, he goes to the deity. If you fulfill this desire, I will give this return in this much. Right? This is second category. First one, everything I want, the desire, one category of person. Second category of person, you give something, you give something, in return I give something. That is the transactional based. And the third one is like the devotion. That is a pure devotion. In devotion, you always give something. You don't desire anything. It's all selfless. Whatever you give, you do, it's for the pleasure of Krishna. You don't desire anything. So this is the pure devotion. So in various scriptures also we see this same thing in different verses, but this is the ultimate thing. Not the desire, not the transaction, it's only pure devotion. You're not looking for any special, it's everything, you are giving everything, not taking anything from the Lord. That is a pure devotion. So with that consciousness, we need to go. So if you see when we see another pastime from Ramanujacharya, we can understand the great devotee Qureshi, how he is dealing with the Lord. Like when Ramanujacharya was praying the Vaishnava Sampradaya, at that time there is always a dispute between Shiva devotees and Vishnu devotees. There was always a fight in South India. So Shiva, they always tell, okay, Shiva is supreme, the Shiva devotees tell. And Vishnu devotees will tell, okay, Vishnu is great. So they used to fight. Even during the Ramanujacharya time, this was prominent, this was happening. And one day, I think it's king of Kanchi, he invited Ramanujacharya. He knows that Ramanujacharya is preaching the Vaishnava philosophy, he's a very great person, he's completely dominating the society with his philosophy. So one day he invited Ramanujacharya, and then he sent a message to come to his court. Then the Qureshi thought that, okay, king might be having some plans to harm Ramanujacharya. Then Qureshi suggested to Ramanujacharya that, okay, you don't go, you will take my dress, because Qureshi is not a sannyasi. So his white dress, he gave it to Ramanujacharya. He told that, you take this Qureshi clothes. Then this Qureshi and one more devotee, they went to a king. So king received nicely, and then all the Shaivites devotees, they were arguing with these people. These Qureshi and other Vaishnava devotees, they defeated all their arguments. And finally, king got very angry, and they put them in the jail. He tortured them so much, and then finally, he removed their eyes, the Qureshi and other devotee eyes. So with that word, then after some, Ramanujacharya got to know about this, and they came out of the jail, and they were leading the life. Qureshi without eyes somehow is surviving. But Ramanujacharya got to know about this. And after some time, when Ramanujacharya met Qureshi, then that time Qureshi was living in Kanchipuram. The famous temple is Varadaraj temple. That is again Vishnu temple. So Qureshi was living in Kanchipuram, and Ramanujacharya sent a message to Qureshi, you go and pray Lord to get back your eyes. Then Qureshi went to the Varadaraj temple, and he started offering prayers to every day. He was going there, completely staying in the temple, and he is offering so many prayers. And then one day Varadaraj Perumal, he was asking Qureshi, okay, I am very much happy with your service, but you said whatever you want, I give you. Then Qureshi, what he said, the person who gave idea to king that, okay, remove the eyes, please shower mercy on that person, Qureshi told. Then okay, that's fine. Then next day again he started offering prayers. Again that Lord Varadaraj, the Supreme Lord Varadaraj again appeared. He was talking to Qureshi. Then he asked, what do you want? I can fulfill any desire. if any of your desires. Then the Qureshi told, okay, the king who removed my eyes, please shower mercy on him. Then he was not asking anything for his because the main problem is he doesn't have eyes to see. And Ramanujacharya instruction was to ask Varadaraj Perumal to get his eyes. But he was not asking anything, and he was asking for other benefit. So Ramanujacharya got to know about this. Then then Ramanujacharya instructed Qureshi, you are my disciple, you are my asset, you don't have anything on your own, so you belongs to me, you are my asset. So since you are my asset, I am instructing you, you go and ask Varadaraj temple and ask Lord to get back your eyes. It's not it's your mine, you are my asset. So I am asking, I am instructing, you go and ask. So then the Varadaraj gave the eyes. So this is how the devotees, when you great devotee, when you go in front of Lord, this is their mood. So this is how they will reciprocate. And the Lord also reciprocated. As per that Bhagavad Gita verse, Qureshi did not ask anything for his thing, but still Lord arranged. So this is that. Krishna says, whatever you have, I'll preserve. Whatever you lack, I provide. This is one other example we can understand. So like this we can understand what kind of things we should ask when we go in front of deities. Right? So the next thing is the transformation happened to Dhruva Maharaj. How it happened? So he, under the guidance of Narada Muni, he did 3 years tapasya, austerity, bhakti, and finally he was able to see Lord Vishnu and he was offering prayers. So the transformation happened because of taking the holy name under the guidance of Guru. He was able to get the darshan of Vishnu. So when we see in Bhagavad Gita, when we also in the Prabhupada mentioned in purports, many purports, that okay, in Kali Yuga, simple thing is chanting the holy name. Now we don't need to do we cannot do that Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti mixed with Ashtanga Yoga, because in Kali Yuga we don't have that ability, that mindset, that consciousness to combine and perform proper Ashtanga Yoga. But in the Satya Yuga it was practical, it is possible. We can see the example of Dhruva Maharaj. When we did Bhakti, chanting the holy name with the Ashtanga Yoga, practicing the mystic yoga, what he said, he was able to capture Supreme Lord in his heart. He is able to capture Supreme Lord in his heart, and when he stopped breathing, whole world was trembling. So that is though it is not applicable in Kali Yuga, but we can understand the potency of bhakti with yoga. Take by help of Ashtanga Yoga, when he was doing bhakti, whole world is trembling. That is the potency of, though it is not applicable in Kali Yuga, but Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made very simple process, chanting the holy name. So even that is also the chanting the holy name. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled all over the India, many places, and he turned so many villages. He made the people into great devotees of the Lord. Right? But that is one example. Even Dhruva Maharaj pastime, we see the whole world trembling and people are going to, the demigods are going to Vishnu and praying. But even with the chanting of the holy name, the Kali Yuga, which is the easy path, that is also, even whole world is trembling. We cannot see, like physically we can't see whole world is shaking, but we can see by some examples. Like in last week, Lal Govind Prabhu, again he was telling about Srila Prabhupada and ISKCON. Right? So when by chanting the holy name, how Srila Prabhupada transformed whole world. Like he gave the example of Alexander. Right? Alexander, he conquered whole world. Right? And Prabhu was telling, when he visited any place, he traveled many places as part of his Bhagavad Katha, and he could not find any traces of Alexander conquered that place. Right? So though people will say, historians say, Alexander conquered whole world, but there is no proper monuments or traces to glorify this Alexander anywhere in the corner of the world, that okay, he conquered whole world. There are no such things. But when we see Srila Prabhupada movement, he preached Sankirtan Yajna. But now, as a result, what is happening? Every corner of the world, we have temples. And recently, Her Grace Nitai Sevani Mataji visited Europe for his preaching. And she posted social media placed one posting. She visited one sixth smallest country in the world. It was there in Europe. The area of the country is 25 kilometers. And in that case, 2 devotee couple doing the preaching. So, This is what we can see the potency of Sankirtan Yajna. Like the Dhruva Maharaj, whole world trembling we see. This is how Srila Prabhupada Sankirtan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan Yajna, Chaitanya Srila Prabhupada movement, how creating the impact. Though we cannot physically trembling, but we can see the impact. Every corner of the world, small, even the whatever small country it is, small village, small town, everywhere, the Krishna temples are there, people are having books, distributing, preaching, these things are. So, this is how we can see the Sankirtan Yajna is the suitable thing in our Kali Yuga, and we need to follow this Sankirtan Yajna and we need to revive the conditioned souls. So, this is what I want like to convey from this verse. Any comments? Any questions? Yes, Prabhu. So, see, like we have one of the things is we have to offer the prayers. Like you take the example of Qureshi. Even Guru asked him to get the ice, but he was going and offering prayers for other people, right? So, similarly, you can explain your problems, nothing wrong. Like I remember one of the lectures, like you can go and ask. But if Krishna, even Prabhupada also told for his disciples, right? You can go and pray in front of Lord, pray. You pray for Lord, pray with Lord, pray to Lord that if you desire so, you give that. So generally we don't need to ask. The verse Bhagavad Gita was clearly saying he will take care of whatever is required, right? That is the argument from that is the clear message from Bhagavad Gita, right? So with that knowledge, even though we are conditioned, we will have anxiety, so many things in our mind. We can, but you offer your prayers in such a humble mood. If at all you want to offer, ask something, you go and pray that if you desire so, you fulfill, you take care of. That is the one argument, but that is not all the time you go and in that mode, but try to minimize it. That's what when I was telling that word, I told we are in condition, we are not there yet. We haven't reached that stage. That like Qureshi, he did not ask his eyes, right? We are not there yet. But within our capacity, we should aim to reach that stage. That should be our goal. Okay. Granthiraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.